Welcome back. So in this video, what I want to add is the wish item. So I want to define how such an item is going to look like before we actually do any of the navigation and adding the add screen and edit detail screen of any given wish list item. Before we do that, I really want to focus on the wish item appearance. So I'm going to create a wish item inside of my home view. Okay, so this will be a composable, which basically is going to be the prototype for how such a wish item is going to look like. And what I want to pass is going to be a wish as well as an on-click event. So I'm going to say on-click, which will be doing nothing. So it will return nothing. Well, we'll just say, okay, whatever you pass, run that code. Now, what is this wish? Well, I need to create a data class which contains information about how such a wish could look like. So let's go ahead and set up the wish. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder, so a new package, and I'm going to call that package data, and like so, data. So inside of this data package, I will create a new file class, and it will be a data class, and I'm going to call this one wish. So this data class will now take care of how basically a wish should look like. So what kind of properties it should have. And this will be important because we want to store that later on inside of our database, and we will use the DAO, which is a very powerful tool, to convert our data type into something we can store inside of a database. So we have our data class, and this wish, as I said, should just have a few properties. So one will be an ID, which I'm going to say is going to be of type long, and by default it will take the 0 as the first value. And then I'm going to have a title, which will be of type string, and by default will be empty. And finally I will have a description, which will be of type string and will also be empty at the beginning. Okay, because if you recall how our application should look like in the end, you see here we have, well, an ID so that we know which one we're looking at, so which wish we're looking at, and then obviously the title as well as the description. So these are the details that I want to have for any given wish. Okay, so that's the structure for our wish, and I'm saying whenever I want to use the wish item, I need to know which wish I should display. And then once we click on the item, I also want to be able to obviously navigate to the details screen. So let's keep going with our wish item, how we want it to look like. So I'm going to use a card. So there is this composable, which is a card. This is this thing here. You can see it's a composable that allows you to add elevation, which allows you to make it look quite nice, as you can see here. So we're going to have this card where I'm going to have a few details in here. So the modifier, for example, so I'm going to style it a little bit, where I'm going to say fill max width. So take the entire width that you have available, but consider a little bit of padding towards the top, which I'm going to set to 8 density pixels, towards the start, which is the left, which I'm going to add to 8 density pixels as well, and towards the end, which is towards the right. So I want to have all of those, but not towards the bottom. Okay, so towards the end of 8 density pixels too, because otherwise I would have like this double distance, and I don't want that. So that will be our padding for our modifier, and I want my card to be clickable. So if you want your card to be clickable, you can add this clickable to your modifier. So here, modifier, fill max width, padding, dot clickable, and dot clickable then says what should happen once we click on it. And I'm just going to say, yeah, execute my onClick method that I pass to the wish item. So basically when we are creating a wish item, we need to pass a function that will then be executed once we click on that card or on that wish item, which is a card. or like the design of it is a card. So what should be the other details that I want to pass here? Well, I'm going to add, so this is my on click. This is still the card all the way up here. So I'm going to say it's not just clickable. I also want to have an elevation, which I'm going to say is going to be 10 density pixels. And finally, I want the background color to be white. So color.white, as you see here. So we have this background color, it's white. That's what I want to define here as well. So what should be the content of it? And you see here, it's basically two items on top of each other. So if we have that, we can use a column. So it's a text and another text. The first text is bold and the other one is not bold. So how do we achieve that? Well, we are just going to add a column here, which is going to have a modifier of modifier dot, and I have a little bit of padding towards all directions. So let me import column here so that the error disappears, and I'm going to use the composable version. And then obviously the column needs content. So let me add content to this column, which will be a text. The first text will have the text of wish.title, and we'll have a font weight of font weight dot extra bold. So there is this font weight dot extra bold, which makes it extra black or like extra thick, so to speak. So that's the first font, and then the other, or like the first text, and then the other text will not have any extra font weight to it, but it will have the description as its text. So this wish, if you recall, is this wish that we're passing, which comes from this data class wish, which contains a title and a description. So we're basically saying whatever wish you're passing on to this particular item, which is going to be this little individual piece, whatever you pass to it, that is where we want to get the title from as well as the description from. And once we click on this thing, we want something to happen. So whatever we pass to this wish item, which will be, as you can see here, basically a navigation event. So send me to the edit screen or the update screen, but make sure that you pass me as an object as well, or load the data from the database, or however we're going to achieve it later on. So that is our wish item for now. Now, I would love to display the wish items already in my lazy columns here, but I'm going to do that in the next video where we're going to use some fake data. Okay, so see you in the next video.